you got the football evaluation. Then you got his dad and what Deion brings to the table as an active father, as an active black father in his black son's life. And we all know what that is.
So, hey, just so y'all know, there were all the black kids that got drafted yesterday, they didn't have a black father in their lives. So that's.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I want y'all to check out. But a lot of people are upset with Shedeur Sanders. I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan. I like Shedeur. I want him to do well. I think he's going to do well. But I'm also not surprised that he didn't get picked up in the first round. I don't think it was racism. I don't think it was racism at all. But it's just funny to see the Stephen A. Smiths, the Jamal Bowman, like Jamal Bowman, bruh. Dude just moves like a clown. This is the same dude that we were just talking about. This is the one that lied about pulling the fire alarm in Congress. Like this. Let's just get into it. Let's get into it. Hold on one sec. My fault. I thought it was shared. There we go. It says it's shared. There we go.
Mike, it was not a shock within the NFL and team buildings when Shedeur Sanders did not go in the first round.
I just take it personal, and maybe I shouldn't, but I take it personal when I see someone like Shedeur Sanders, you know, because he talk a certain way and because he wears gold chains and his pops is Deion and he don't want to submit to y'all white, you know.
Being ghetto and flashy and not being perceived as a team leader isn't black people stuff. That's called ignorant stuff. That's called fumbling.
Sorry, Tatum. Shout out to my boy Officer Tatum again.
Didn't run around like he got
Shout out to
three
my boy Officer Tatum again. I got to use him just to show this Jamal Bowman clip. Take a look at this.
Then you got his. Okay, you got the football evaluation. Then you got his dad and what Deion brings to the table as an active father, as an active black father in his black son's life. And we all know what that is.
So, hey, just so y'all know, there were all the black kids that got drafted yesterday, they didn't have a black father in their lives. So that's.
We want to, admit it or not, but it's not only that. It's the way Shedeur dresses. It's the way he talks, and it's his culture.
So what does he mean by the way Shedeur talks? Let me give you an example, because perhaps he's not aware of the way Shedeur talks. Let me give you an example with this clip that I'm getting ready to show y'all. Hold on. Let's give an example of the way Shedeur talks.
That's the plan. If that's not what you're trying to do,
let me turn this up a little bit. Hold on. Let me try to turn it up a little bit. So they're asking him about changing the culture of whatever team that he's getting ready to go to. And this is his response.
That's the plan. If that's not what you're trying to do, don't get me. If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't get me. So you should know history repeats itself over.
If you're not trying to change the culture and your franchise, don't come get me. In other words, don't draft me. You, NFL owner, billionaire, multimillionaire. If you're not trying to change the culture and your franchise, for me, if you don't want that change, because I'm coming in to change it, then don't come get me. Could you imagine like the audacity and arrogance that y'all allow just because y'all want to root for everything black and y'all are so accustomed to this nigga culture? Instead of telling Shedeur, easy, bro. Everybody wants NFL owners to adapt to Shedeur, right? No, those NFL owners should adapt to Shedeur, but nobody feels that Shedeur should have to adapt to the NFL owners. Like, what are we talking about? The nerve and entitlement of y'all, bro. Are y'all serious? These are billion-dollar franchises, and you think that Shedeur is going to come in and adjust the culture of what they got going on? You think that they're going to bring somebody in who's talking shit like Shedeur is? Talking about if you're not trying to change the culture, change your franchise, don't come get me. He's making it clear. Okay, so as the CEO of my company, as the owner of my company, I do not want to change the culture. I set the culture, not you, a college kid that went 13-12 in his last 2 years. You're not changing the culture here, bro. So respectfully, since I don't want to change my culture of this billion-dollar franchise that I either built or bought, we're going to look elsewhere. And you got Jamal Bowman on here talking about it's race. It's because he's got a father. Deion did do him a disservice by condoning all this, talking all this nonsense, bro. Like, nobody is above the program, bro. Could you imagine having a billion-dollar company? There's a lot of different ways that we can go with this. First and foremost, if I got a billion-dollar company and I'm hiring somebody to potentially run that, right? The quarterback, CEO of the team, whatever. Do you think that I want to hire somebody that cares more about their personal brand than they care about this brand that I built, that I'm paying you a significant amount to lead, that is already worth a lot more than you're worth? But instead, you got all these Jamal Bowman, Stephen A. Smiths running around here, Ryan Clark's talking about it's racist. This is the same level of entitlement that got black women running around right now thinking they don't got to change, that everybody else, the world should just adjust to them. Because soft daddies like a Jamal Bowman, our daddies got that Jamal Bowman mindset. No, my kid is just perfect. Your daddy's little girl. You're just perfect just the way that you are. Society's going to adjust to you. No, Shedeur has to adjust. Or go get his own team. Right? Deion, you were successful. Go buy a team, and then you can bring on Shedeur and do whatever it is that you want to do. The nerve, bro. Like, what? Yo, what? Yo, this shit is crazy. This is crazy.
Over and over, and I've done it over and over and over. So it should be no question why NFL franchise should pick.
If you don't know who that is, that's Shedeur Sanders. That's Deion Sanders' son. And he was supposed to be drafted much higher than he actually was. He was expected to be a first-round pick. He went in like the 5th or 6th round. And there are a bunch of people saying it's because of his race. They don't like to see a black man confident. They don't want to see a black man do well. They don't like to see a father invested in their son. No, that's not it. That clip I just showed you is it. Because if I'm an owner, a GM, right, a head coach, and I see this guy who hasn't been drafted telling me what I need to do with my team,
that's the exact face that I would be making. And we're not even discussing the fact that Deion already came out and said that his goal is to go wherever Shedeur is to eventually be the coach, the head coach on that NFL team and coach his son. So if I'm a coach of an NFL team, do you think I'm going to bring somebody on? Do you think that I'm going to welcome in somebody to try to potentially take over my job? The team doesn't do well for the first couple games, and now there's a petition to bring Deion as the head coach. Like, what? Like, do y'all not see how blinded we are by these race issues? We involve race with everything. And what's so funny is a lot of these people crying out race and all this other stuff. And we're going to hear Stephen A. Smith relating it to Colin Kaepernick later on. Like, where were y'all when Colin Kaepernick? Let me stay focused. Stay focused.
move along. Move along. Tell me what I need to do with my culture as if he's God or something. I think an attitude like this is the biggest reason why teams passed on him. All the way into the 5th or 6th round. It seems now that he's been knocked off his high horse, the Browns are like, okay, we'll take a gamble on you. Doesn't mean he won't turn out to do very well in the NFL. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a bright future. Time will tell. We will see. But I'm tired of a bunch of black people making this about race. The league is over 50% black. These teams regularly sign millions and millions of millions of millions of millions of dollars in deals with black athletes. This isn't because they're racist. We need to stop making everything about race. It's pathetic, and it makes it harder to take black people seriously when they complain about race because they make everything about race. It's like the boy who cried wolf. I think his attitude had the biggest thing to do with it. Because I'm telling you again, if that was me and I was a GM or a coach, pass. Pass. If he's talking like that, pass.
Like, does this not make sense? Does this not make sense? Let's get back to the Jamal Bowman video. And Unc, I see the comments that you're making in the chat. I will gladly address those. I will gladly address those. Gladly address those. You're comparing, and give me a sec, because I think that I will gladly address those comments that you're making. Just give me a sec. Let's focus on this first, and then we'll get to that.
Ew. Sorry to interrupt the video. We got a new challenge. 20,000 by the end of April. We fell short in March, but we're gonna get our goal this month. Thank you all in advance for those that are gonna continue to like, subscribe, maybe even leave some comments and let us know how we're doing. And on that note, let me let y'all get back to the video, and I'll see y'all soon. Ew.
In my opinion. You see him at the draft last night. He's wearing all black. He got the ill chain on, and he talks like a rapper. And you know, I keep hearing, oh.
Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Unc, let's talk. Unc, let's talk. Because you're doing exactly what, in my opinion, is misleading. You're conflating two totally different situations. Hold on, let me put this off the screen for a sec. You're comparing illegal migrants to the KKK. You just said if Trump was against neo-Nazis and the KKK, they would be in El Salvador prisons, but you have mothers and children of American citizenship being deported. Unc, stop trying to conflate a whole bunch of issues. You're conflating issues, bro. You're comparing KKK members. You're comparing KKK members who are Americans to people that were illegal migrants that come here. Like, what are we really talking about, Unc? This is like, can we ever just pick and stay on a topic? This is the problem when you got to talk about when you call out something that Biden did and people say, oh, well, Trump did this. Can we just talk about this and Biden do it? And we all do it. We all do it, but we have to stop. If somebody calls out something about Trump not doing something right, instead, oh, Trump's condoning a lot of what Israel's doing with Palestine. Well, Biden did this. Well, Biden, I can't do that. Let's just focus on, let's talk about what Trump's doing. Stop it, bro. What's the last building that the KKK took over in like in Colorado? What's the last apartment building that the KKK took over? And we got to stop this, bro. We got to stop. We got to stop. Unc wrote, there are white people in Tennessee, Kansas, and Oklahoma right now that are training the federal government. Won't go after them, but they'll come after me and you. Unc, nobody's coming after me and you. Oh, my God, bro. We got to move on. 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 Unc, we can gladly have this conversation later on, bro. Later on. We got to stop. We got to stop. Let's get back to Shedeur.
He's entitled. He feels entitled. I don't know. It's like entitled. So like these white boys that came before him don't feel entitled.
Yo. This was a representative. People voted for this man. And let me read what Honest wrote. Frankly, this is a great non-political example of the divide in our nation. Some are not able to filter out facts from fiction. Some will use racism anytime it fits a narrative. This is a fact. Shout out to IROC in the building. I always got to say IROC like that. Calvin, what's up, Calvin? Do me a favor, yo. If you didn't like yet, please like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It's going to help the algorithm get as many different people in here having this conversation. Calvin wrote, Deion messed this up for his son. What's crazy, he didn't have to do that. Deion did this, bro. Deion did all this. Let me reiterate. I am a Shedeur fan. I like the Sanders family. I have Shiloh's jersey. I bought Shiloh's jersey, Shedeur's brother. I bought it at Jackson State. I got an autographed Shiloh jersey in my closet. I don't know the last time that I bought a jersey. I don't know if I bought a football jersey ever. Matter of fact, I've never bought a football jersey other than my own. No, let me stop. I've never bought no football jersey. And I bought his son's football jersey. I'm a fan of the Sanders family, but yo, just because you're a fan, you have to be, you just can't rationalize everything that they do moving forward, especially when you have such high profile people like them, because they're setting the tone on a lot of these youngins. I see a lot of these young peewee players, whether it's AAU or whether it's football, the culture, this Shedeur culture, these young kids, they think they're celebrities at 6, 7, 8 years old. It's just the arrogance that a lot of them move with. All right, cool. You move like that. Hey, you want to be arrogant? You got to deal with what life brings that with. If you want to be arrogant, there's a lot of things that come with it, right? Shedeur got a whole lot of sponsorships, made a lot of money, was able to have some nice cars. But that arrogance also has pros and cons. There's two sides to the coin, right? You want the yin, but you don't want the yang. You got to accept it as it comes. Let's keep going. And then you got Jamal Bowman's here. Why these grown men can't help but do anything but cry racism over every little thing. Like, since when has it become so manly to do this?
Eli Manning, Archie Manning, when they said he don't want to play for San Diego, don't draft me.
And he did it in a particular way that Shedeur could have done it in as well, but he chose not to. So therefore, he has to accept the way that he created. Eli Manning wasn't jumping out the window at a combine interview. He's getting interviewed up there at the combine talking about, yeah, if you don't want to change your culture and your franchise, don't come get me. See, they won't include that. Jamal Bowman's probably never even seen that. Jamal Bowman's not a sports guy, man.
That's not entitlement, but that was acceptable. That was okay for him to do that. I just take it personal, and maybe I shouldn't, but I take it personal when I see someone like Shedeur Sanders, because he talk a certain way and because he wears gold chains and his pops is Deion and he don't want to submit to y'all white, he's gonna slip in the draft. And you're telling me it's based on the evaluation. Like, you didn't watch the games and watch him play and see him play. Like, it's crazy. Peace.
Then somebody explain to me how, because he don't put up with the white boy stuff, white people stuff. How's this guy in Congress? That's the most racist thing that I've heard. If white people talked half.
And you know what's so funny? So Donald Trump's the racist, right? That's what look at what even Donald Trump, let me get on you. Donald Trump talking about what is wrong with NFL owners. Are they stupid? Deion Sanders was a great college football player and was even greater in the NFL. He's also a very good coach, streetwise and smart. Therefore, Shedeur, his quarterback son, has phenomenal genes and is all set for greatness. He should be picked immediately by a team that wants to win. Good luck, Shedeur, and say hello to your wonderful father. Stupid. This is stupid. This was dumb. Donald Trump has no idea what's going on. And Donald Trump has this was ignorant. Let me say that. And the reason why I'm saying it's ignorant is because Donald Trump has no idea those videos that I just showed about Shedeur. Stupid, ignorant, dumb. It's all of the above, man. Like, this was just a silly thing to write. I don't know whether he was trying to do it to appeal to black people, appeal to shit. I don't know. But this is like, bro, knock it off, Donald. You, out of all people, you understand how you want to run things the way you want to run stuff. So now imagine somebody coming in to Donald Trump, he's the president, and me coming in looking for a job like, yo, I'm changing the whole culture here. I'm changing this whole, your whole MAGA, Make America, I'm changing everything. Do you think Donald Trump is going to hire me? There's a lot of ignorance around this Shedeur Sanders situation. A lot of ignorance, and it's on both sides clearly. You got Jamal Bowman. The one thing so Jamal Bowman and Donald Trump can agree on Shedeur Sanders. Now, they may not agree on it for the same reasons. I don't know. Donald Trump didn't make it clear. Half of Donald Trump's tweet or Truth Social is about Deion Sanders. Bro, that's got nothing to do with Shedeur. Oh, he got them Deion nigga jeans where he could run real fast, and I'm exaggerating. But Donald Trump said he's got phenomenal genes. Stop it. So if he's got phenomenal genes, then draft Shiloh too, his other son, or draft Deion Sanders Jr., right? Who had those same genes, right? Like, stop it. This is just silly to me. It's silly to me. It's silly to me. And I want y'all to hear some of the comments that Stephen A. Smith made on this. Let me go to Stephen A. comments about this, and then we're going to go to Gilly's comments, and then we're going to head out on that. We're going to head out on that. Let me get this up here.
Shedeur Sanders is not blameless here. Primetime Deion Sanders is not blameless here. I'm going to say what I have to say, knowing that both of them have their hands at least a little bit dirty in all of this. But if you're the National Football League, clearly it's not about talent anymore. It's about something else. And I'm going to tell you, I spent a large amount of the last 24 hours thinking about nothing more than I was thinking about collusion. Because how in the hell does 32 teams in the National Football League pass on a quarterback that was universally recognized as one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country entering this draft, and 32 teams passed on him, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 different times they passed on him? How the hell does that happen? 4 rounds. It doesn't happen to a quarterback. We've never seen anything like this before. We've seen guys drop because of injuries. We've seen guys drop because of off-field issues, but we've never seen a quarterback projected to be a top 20 pick, universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, projected to be a first rounder, in all likelihood a safe bet of a late first rounder, and drop literally to the 5th round. We haven't seen anything like that. And when you're talking about the owners, I'm going to keep in mind, and I tweeted about this, seems very Kaepernick-like, as in Colin Kaepernick.
The same Kaepernick that you didn't support, Stephen A., but now you jumping out the window for Shedeur? Yo, I'm not even going to play that. Hold on, Unc. Unc, come on down. So, Unc, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Perfect example. So I said the thing about Deion, right? Deion could have bought a team. I think Deion Sanders had a handful of, or I said if Deion wanted to control a team, go buy one. Unc wrote, I think Deion Sanders and a handful of rappers like Ice Cube tried to buy a team. I believe that Ice Cube tried to buy the Raiders and they wouldn't sell it to him. Why? So you're asking me why. So what I just did was I just Googled, did Ice Cube try to buy the Raiders? This was the response that I got, and it's AI, so, you know, don't judge me on it. It says, while Ice Cube, matter of fact, I'll just show y'all. No worries. So y'all don't think I'm playing games. Hold on. I'll just show it to y'all. Hold on. Where are we at? Share this time. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm sharing it. Is this it? There we go. All right. I just wrote, did Ice Cube try to buy the Raiders? It says, while Ice Cube is a passionate and vocal Raiders fan, there's no evidence he has ever tried to buy the team or a stake in it. He has repeatedly expressed his desire to be involved with the team in some way, but he has also stated that he'd rather stay on the sidelines than become an owner. ESPN notes that Ice Cube has the financial means to buy into the NFL, but he prefers to watch from the stands. Unc, I'm just using it as an example. This is how things snowball. You just wrote, and now people, if I didn't Google that, people would have been thinking that Ice Cube tried to buy the Raiders. And why? You're asking me why, insinuating that it must be a race thing. Deion, I don't think, has the money to even talk about buying a team. You got to remember, Deion played at a totally different time. And Deion has been a high school coach. He had a couple TV shows, but I don't think Deion had money to be buying NFL teams, just being totally honest with you. Now, it says Ice Cube has the means, but has chosen to not. He wanted to be involved in in other ways. So now in our minds, we think that, oh, Ice Cube tried to buy a team, but they wouldn't let him buy it because he's black. Do you see how this stuff can snowball, Unc? Do you see how this stuff can snowball when we make everything about race and we just think that, oh, this had to happen because of race? And I saw you ask me what type of coffee I need. This is straight water. When you go around with your eyes open, seeing the BS and seeing how people try to make everything about race and try to make people that look like me out to be victims and entitled. So that's the number one reason why they feel like they can't ever be successful in life. I just get pissed off. I wake up like this. And I wish other people had the same energy. I wish people had the same energy. I wish Jamal Bowman had the same energy to uplift black people rather than to convince them that they're victims and being oppressed. That's what I wish. We got to stop this nonsense, bro. We got to stop this. We got to stop this. Matter of fact, we don't have to do anything. But I'm just going to keep pushing out my energy. And there's a reason why. I'll tell y'all the only reason why I do this podcast, because it's easier than writing a book. It's easier than writing something down that I can eventually leave for my kids and whoever else that I may have an influence on, my eventual kids. Knock on some wood. Where's some wood? Some paper. This is the blueprint. This so they know in real time what I was thinking. This is my Bible that I'm leaving my kids. All of these different podcasts, all these different episodes, they don't ever have to wonder what Pops was thinking at this particular time. They can just go tap in with YouTube, go tap in and look at it on a different platform, whatever. I do not want my kids, I do not want my grandkids, I don't want my great-grandkids to ever be misled and get bamboozled like the majority of black people growing up right now get fooled. Let's move on to Gilly's response. I wanted to show y'all Gilly's response. Hold on. And these are people that are super influential. Super influential. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use the Gilly video. I got another video on here. Hold on. I'd rather use this one. Give me a sec. There was an easier one for us to watch on here. More bookmarks. Give me a second. I got to show y'all this Gilly video. All right, so here we go. Let me share this tab instead. Here we go. Oh, it was already on. Now, keep in mind, this is Gilly. Grew up selling drugs, robbing people. Now is a successful multi-millionaire because he has a podcast where he brings on rappers and has conversations. And he's signing multi-million-dollar deals. His co-host is his cousin that was locked up for a while for whatever. And now they're multi-millionaires. So keep in mind as you're watching this.
To all my folks out there, right? I just want y'all to know that when you're a black man in America, right, sometimes you get reminders. You know what I mean? As a successful black man in America, I often get reminders. And in the Shedeur Sanders situation, this is just a reminder that you could.
As a successful black man in America, you often get reminders. Let's focus on the first part of that. As a successful black man in America, what other place could Gilly the Kid go and bring his resume? Bring his resume, rapper, robber, Used to give out free game, kind of comedic style on Instagram. Turned it into a podcast with his cousin, Felon. And signed a multi-million-dollar deal to bring on goofy-ass rappers and spread more ignorance, in my opinion. Yeah, they may have some positive things every now and then, yeah. But ultimately, it's providing a platform to spread more ignorance with these goofy-ass rappers. Just like Gilly the Kid. Remember I showed y'all that clip of Gilly the Kid in an Atlanta hood talking about, yeah, everybody can't come here. He's taking his camera, showing the guns that the little 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids are holding, talking about, oh, this the big homie, this the big homie. Got them on camera with guns, talking about everybody can't come here. This same Gilly, a successful black man in America.
You can do everything right in life. You can come from a good family. You could be a good student. You could be a God-fearing kid. You could be a hard worker. You could beat the odds. Your dad could be a Hall of Fame player. So you can beat the odds. You can beat, he ain't his daddy. You can beat all of that growing up. But you still get a reminder that you just a nigga, man.
Oh, my God. You get a reminder that you're just a nigga. You get the opportunity to play a game. And because you got drafted in the 5th round instead of the 1st round, you got a reminder that you're just a nigga. If he just got a reminder by getting drafted in the 5th round that he's still a nigga, maybe that's because Gilly and Deion and everybody else like Jamal Bowman and Stephen A. Smith riding his didn't remind him that he was behaving like a nigga before the draft. That's nigga behavior. And I don't care about the whole flashiness with the watch. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about how he behaved in his interviews. I'm talking about him going on stage thinking that he could tell some billionaires, billion-dollar organizations who have been around long before him and will be around long after him. If you ain't trying to change the culture, don't come get me. Behaving in interviews like, nah, I'm interviewing y'all. Like, all right. Perhaps some of us need that nigga reminder. But perhaps we need it from niggas and not just from the NFL teams. So therefore we can move better beforehand rather than put ourselves in a position where we're giving up a whole lot of money, the difference between getting drafted in the 1st round compared to getting drafted in the 5th round. My dad always tells me that my grandmother used to always tell him when he was leaving the house, mind you, boy, or something like, mind you, don't act like nobody's nigga. My grandmother used to tell my dad, mind you, don't act like nobody's nigga. And now our entire culture is based on niggatry. The people that we elevate to become millionaires like Gilly, niggas. Gilly, Shedeur didn't need a reminder. All those niggas you bring on your show to push nigga shit, that's the reminder that we need. All of this culture that we embrace, that we love so much, nigga shit. And the white man reminded Shedeur, every once in a while, me, and my felon co-host, Wallow, who he just got he was locked up for a while. We were selling drugs and robbing people. We're multimillionaires now because these white people gave us multimillionaires, right? Every once in a while, we get a reminder. Maybe the reminder is not that you're a nigger. Maybe the reminder is that we're paying your black ass a whole bunch of money. And if you look at your history based on you robbing, selling drugs, doing whatever else you was doing, trying to be a rapper, maybe they're reminding you that you're that.
That's it. You just a nigga. We sitting here looking at a public execution going on right in front of our eyes. Where it's like, we just gotta remind you that you just a nigga. There's no other way to look at it. There's a lot of black analysts on TV, but they gotta keep it corporate. They can't say what it is. They gotta keep it corporate. I just think this unbelievable. It's just, no, sometimes as a black man in America, you get reminded that you just a nigga. Don't matter how much work you put in. Don't matter. None of that don't matter. You got to understand. I arrived at a hotel in Boston, right? And I get to the front desk and I say, is there any way I could get a suite? And this lady look at me and she say, I'm sorry. She didn't press one button. She says, I'm sorry, it's no suites in the building. They're all sold out. As she's saying it, a white man is walking out the back. As she say, Gilly, oh man, I love you. Man, I love what you do for the community, man. You're a great guy. She hand me my room key. I get up to my floor. When the elevator opened, the white guy's on my floor. And he says, Gilly, I don't know why she told you there's no suites available. Every suite in the building is open, Gilly. Come back downstairs, man. We're going to put you in a suite.
I can't, like, okay. People, I guess there's no reason to not believe Gilly, right? I guess it goes back to what Mal was saying when he was talking about, Donald Trump, he wasn't renting his house to certain people. Look, I wouldn't want certain. The hotel was racist. Gilly said it's racist. You know what's so funny? Look to the right side of this. I didn't even peep this when I initially looked at the video. It says you probably can't really explain it to someone who isn't black, but man, this is wildly racist, LOL. New Titans quarterback Cam Ward has gone viral for being the perfect type of person you want as a quarterback. Cam is not a diva, wears a regular plain suit, no flashy jewelry, and is representing his alma mater, exactly what teams are looking for. Do you know what I just had to do? So I'm going to show y'all just how much I don't pay attention. We're done with that. Just how much I don't pay attention to football. I saw Travis Hunter get drafted number 2 because I was at the gym and I forget what I was like looking up. I was like on what was I on? The rower, dying on the rower. And I looked up and said, oh, Travis, I bet. I didn't even know that Cam Ward, until just now looking it up, got drafted number 1 overall by the Titans. I did not know that the black quarterback. I did not know that a black quarterback got drafted number 1 overall in this draft. You know what? Yo, America's racist. America's racist. You know what? Black people, so this is for all the black people. You can't succeed in America. America's racist. There's always going to be something held against you. There's a lot of racism here. Cool. Whatever people want to embrace, cool. More opportunities for me. More opportunities for me. Let me be the Uncle Tom, right? Let me be the what's the guy on the Uncle Ruckus? Yeah, more opportunities for me. That's pretty much what we're all saying and describing, right? We want to embrace America being racist. Cool. America needs that. You want these liberals to you want them to keep convincing you that you're a victim, that the only way that you can be successful is if you vote Democrat and if you use us to help us fight against these racist Republicans. Cool. Whatever y'all want to embrace, cool. Let's move on to this Michelle Obama video. Shout out to Big Bro in the building. Culture is king. Culture is king. So with culture being king, Big Bro, I got to ask the question. since we were just talking Democrat versus Republican, this is not just for Big Bro. So let me bring this down. Which culture is pushing, or which party is pushing which culture? When I see the Democrats and I see them bring up Meg the Stallion, Beyonce, Cardi B, to extend the message to try to attract voters on that end, I'm looking like, damn, that's the culture of women being sexualized, men mistreating women, anti-family, all these other things. But then I look at the other guy. So if culture is king, who is setting the negative culture when it comes to this racism that we're discussing in this show right now? Who's pushing that culture? Just a question that I have. Nephew, part of my big problem is I'm watching you on my big screen and listening to you on my phone as I respond, so there's a big time delay. Click the live button if you can. Let's keep going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep moving, because I want to show y'all this Michelle Obama video. And be sure, before Michelle Obama, let me show y'all this real quick. Hold on, not that one. Let's get into the Michelle Obama video. I wanted to show y'all this Trump video that I was happy that Trump came out and mentioned something about Gaza. Does it say it in this video? Hold on.
Ew, it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.